The Vows and Merits of the Medicine Buddha, Dissecting the Karmic Cycle and the Logic of the Soul.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this episode of Deep Dive Analysis. Today, we are going to talk about something incredibly hardcore or content that will absolutely subvert your existing perceptions. Through a brilliant commentary on the Sutra of the Merit and Virtue of the Past Vows of the Medicine Buddha, we are going to do a deep teardown. We won't be talking about illusory metaphysics instead. We will tangibly dissect how karma and retribution actually operate at the fundamental level, and how the soul can ultimately achieve true liberation. To be honest, this is an extremely precise logical system. Are you ready? Let's cut right to the chase. The psychological starting point. Right off the bat, the text throws out a remarkably vivid metaphor. They feel deep pain and regret. Can you imagine that? This describes people completely consumed by greed, when they are forced against their will to take even the tiniest amount of money out of their pockets to give to others. This micro-psychological depiction is absolutely brilliant. And it's not just a metaphor, this is precisely the psychological starting point of the entire karmic collapse we are about to unpack. Part E, the fall. Alright, let's first look at the root of this karmic suffering. There is something incredibly striking about this commentary. It coldly and mercilessly binds specific negative human behaviors directly to terrifying karmic destinations. Greed, stinginess, those who, out of ignorance of karma, are jealous, greedy, and stingy correspond directly to the realms of hungry ghosts or animals. Arrogance, broken precepts. If, due to arrogance, they break the precepts and destroy right views, they head straight for the endless hells. Extreme jealousy. What if their jealousy explodes, and they constantly step on others to elevate themselves? First, they go to hell, and when they get out, they are reduced to beasts of burden doing hard labor for others. You could say this set of karmic laws leaves absolutely no room for bargaining. Among all these pitfalls, the text specifically highlights and warns against an extremely dangerous form of arrogance called overweening pride, atmana. What exactly does this mean? It refers to the extreme hubris of giving up further learning, blindly looking down on everyone, and even slandering the truth. The most terrifying thing about such a person is not just that their own worldview is completely ruined, but that they carry a fake halo, dragging thousands of people who blindly trust them down into a massive pit of eternal doom. They are simply walking disasters. Part R, the horrifying karmic cycle. This leads us to our next part, the thrillingly terrifying karmic cycle. The original text maps out a very specific and agonizingly long route of suffering for those consumed by jealousy and self-aggrandizement. This isn't just a one-and-done punishment. Hell first, you have to endure immeasurable thousands of years of sheer agony in hell. Beast realm, when your hellish karma is finally cleared out, your next life turns directly into a beast of burden, whipped daily, never having enough to eat or drink. Lowly human, endure further. And even if you finally reincarnate as a human, you are born into an extremely lowly environment, reduced to a slave with zero freedom, driven around at will by others. This is truly a rigorous, from the spiritual to the physical. To make the seemingly distant karmic state more vivid, the narrator shares a very grounded, real-life observation. In a nearby village, several families chipped in to share an old cow. Normally, no one cared about feeding or watering it. But whenever there was work, everyone worked it to the bone, locking it up right after. As a result, one day, this old cow literally collapsed and smashed into the ground from sheer exhaustion, thirst, and hunger. The narrator reported this incident in an almost plain, documentary tone to remind us that the cruel karmic retributions written in the scriptures are not myths at all. They are vividly projected into the real world right around us. Part 3, the ultimate safety net. So the question arises, this seems like an insolvable dead end. How do we escape? Here, the text reveals what can only be called a miraculous, God-tier plot twist. As long as you have, in a past life, even just briefly heard the name of the medicine Buddha, this single minuscule action will transform in the future into a miraculous, built-in safety net deep within the suffering soul. Let's see how this escape mechanism is triggered. It is progressive and intricately interlocked. Step E. While suffering in the evil realms, due to past good seeds, the name of the Buddha suddenly flashes briefly in your mind. Step R. The exact moment you remember it, the escape mechanism activates. Step 3. Without any hesitation, you instantly cross dimensions and respawn with full health right in the human world, in just a single thought. Such an incredible quantum leap is completed. Part C. Rapid spiritual evolution. But wait, the best part is yet to come. This isn't just your average reincarnation as a human. The text suggests this is practically an abrupt and massive upgrade of the soul. Because this rebirth is powered by the vows of the medicine Buddha. This person is born with cheat codes. They remember the suffering they endured in the evil realms. So they absolutely abhor worldly desires. Even more shockingly, he instantly transformed from a stingy miser into someone who fervently loves giving to the point where they unhesitatingly share their own body parts with others. Arrogance is non-existent. They possess absolute right view and completely break free from the control of all demonic hindrances. At this point, the text throws out a fascinating paradox regarding the cultivation of the Bodhisattva path. On one hand, it says you need gradual cultivation. On the other hand, it says you can attain rapid perfection. If you have to take it slow, how can you rapidly reach perfection? The narrator uses a brilliant math analogy here that clears it up instantly. It's like learning math. You always have to start with counting, then addition and subtraction, followed by algebra, geometry, and finally calculus. These steps, the gradual process cannot be skipped. However, because of the Buddha's empowerment, when you pass each level, you don't have to spend multiple lifetimes grinding away like an ordinary person. Instead, whoosh, you instantly clear the level. This perfectly explains how one can achieve a rapid, surging breakthrough in speed without skipping any steps. Part 2. Sincere Refuge. Alright, here's the focal point. To truly unlock the ultimate liberation described later, you still need to meet one core condition. The text highlights a key point here. Just hearing the name is not enough. It must be paired with an intensely strong, absolute focus. The text calls the sincere refuge. To put it plainly, your mind cannot have even the slightest bit of fragmentation. You have to turn back completely from all those messy worldly illusions and push all your chips, without reservation, entirely onto the medicine Buddha. The narrator uses a very fitting modern analogy, the direct high-speed bullet train. Your focus must be like a non-stop train from Beijing to Shanghai. Its tracks are dead straight. It's impossible for it to branch off into multiple side tracks halfway through. Your mind must also be like this train, without any distractions. Only then can it be called true sincerity. There is an extremely sharp insight into human nature here. Actually, every one of us is born with this incredibly powerful focus. Think about it, isn't the world absolutely dead set and constantly obsessed with money? Buying houses, buying cars, spouses, and children. That is our sincerity on a worldly level. The secret, it is actually extremely simple. You just need to take that exact, ultimate attachment to worldly bonds and shift it directly, focusing it intensely like a laser beam onto the Buddha and the truth. Where you fix your gaze, there lies your path to liberation. Part Rho, the ultimate realm. As our analysis draws to a close, the original text mercilessly shoves a mirror right into our faces. The narrator directly challenges our sense of self-satisfaction. He asks if we feel that we have genuinely heard the Buddha's name in the past and seem to be practicing pretty well. Then out of those superpowers just mentioned, like casually giving away our flesh and blood, we're having absolutely zero worldly greed. How many do we actually possess right now? This implies that if we don't have even the slightest trace of this natural manifestation within us, then we haven't truly absorbed this power at all. Finally, the text throws out a soul-searching question that makes you gasp in shock. It's been over R. years since the Buddha passed into Nirvana. For these past R. plus years, what on earth have we been doing? Think about it. During this vast expanse of time, only just managing to crawl out today to scrape by with a human body. This question is not just an interrogation of the past. It's meant to pierce right through and wake us up. making us genuinely give rise to the desire to break the cycle of karma. I hope today's text teardown has brought you some mind-blowing insights. That's all for this episode's analysis. Thank you all for joining me, and I'll see you next time.